Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We got 11:02. I timed this earlier as about 14, almost 15 minutes. So we'll see if we can get this done by 11:15 to honor our time commitments. Thanks for joining us again. That's me. Um, I don't want to pop any balloons, but I'm not walking around my home office in a suit and tie today. But that's what I look like when I dress up. I'm a real person. And also, just a quick warning beforehand. I normally like to put fun pictures throughout these webinars that I do. Uh, this is the only one you're getting today because I just lacked the creativity when I was making this deck about training. I thought about a lot of puns, but I figured I'd keep it somewhat professional today. All right, so without further ado, employee training. So just like there are different ways that Rocky and Drago in Rocky 4, for those of you who are of a certain age, remember the movie, um, there are lots of different ways and different reasons that you have to train your employees. There's company integration, onboarding stuff, product training, skills training, hard skills, soft skills, leadership skills, technical skills. Maybe you have an industry that is regulated, and you have to have some special training to adhere to those specific regulations that affect your company, or just plain Jane regular old HR compliance training. So we're going to get into all this today. Um, and first, we're going to start out with, why do we train? And so there's three main reasons that I came up with, and actually a fourth one that I thought of while I was waiting to start. And so that's a bonus non-bulleted point that we'll get to at the end of this slide. But the first point is employee retention. And you might say, why does training my current employees, have anything to do with keeping them on? Well, smart people have done studies, and I think this one was some SHRM that I found, that shows that training and development of employees is an important tool in reducing turnover. So they're saying that employee investment will help employees identify with the company and reduce the desire to leave because of dissatisfaction. Now, that doesn't mean you can't stop them from leaving. Somebody might have a family situation, or there might be a monetary situation where they need to find a job that earns more. But just from plain old employee dissatisfaction, training has been shown to help employee retention. The training and showing a commitment to your employees increases employee engagement and makes them feel more valued as a part of the organization. Another SHRM study has indicated that on average, it costs the company 6 to 9 months of an employee's salary to replace them. So simple math here, because I'm an attorney, and the math is that if somebody's earning $60,000 a year, that turns out to be $30,000 to $45,000 in recruiting and training costs to bring a new employee in and up to speed. Add to that that doesn't take into account any opportunity cost of missed opportunities if you don't have someone in place, if you don't have a bench where somebody can backfill that position. Also add in the morale hit to employees left behind that have to do more work to pick up the slack if you don't have a plan for that in place to replace that position immediately. And I very rarely know of a company that has someone sitting there just ready to slot into a role immediately. And finally, and this is kind of a fudge factor, but add into that the loss of institutional knowledge. So if if Bonnie left and Bonnie knew how to make the toner on the copy machine work by hitting a special spot, or shaking the toner a special way, and she leaves and nobody else knows how to do that, when the copy machine breaks down, you might have to call a copy machine repairman, and that costs more money, and it lost productivity in the time that the copy machine is down, etc., etc. I could go on all day and come up with crazy hypotheticals with this, but I think you get the point. The second reason why we train is we're looking at a more productive workforce. We love productivity. Everyone loves increased productivity. There's blogs coming out your ears on it. So once an employee is trained up or trained in on new skills, that employee immediately becomes more valuable to the employer. That employee can help increase revenue, they can help increase margins, and the employer can share some of those benefits of the increased productivity by sharing some of the increased margin with the employee through wage increases or bonuses. So it's kind of a double bonus for employers. The employer gets improved performance, and they get employees to be more engaged and happier via increased comp, be it a salary increase, be it a bonus, be it a productivity bonus, be it profit sharing, something like that. So basically, employees who receive ongoing training also have other benefits. They tend to be more innovative and open to new ideas. They're likely to come up, or probably more likely to come up with creative solutions to problems and to contribute to the organization's growth. Now, a lot of the positions might not be open to creativity, but you'd be surprised. Like even janitors or custodial staff might come up and say, you know what, this is the way we're doing it, but I found a better way to do it, and it's going to save us time, and it's going to save us effort, and we're going to result in better result for the company. So don't even overlook those little things. The third point that made my slide is risk reduction. Training helps reduce the risk of lawsuits or discrimination claims in lawsuit or employment if you train them on the HR stuff, like we're going to get into. You can also perhaps buy some goodwill for employees. So if you've treated them right and trained them and helped them grow and learn new skills or hone the skills they have, if they do leave, hopefully that goodwill has bought them something for you, in that when the employee leaves, they don't say, screw that employer, I'm going to sue them, because I thought I was treated poorly. Or it's also possible if they do leave, that they leave in a decent manner. They can either help refer you to a new candidate perhaps, or maybe they'll leave things in a good spot, with job aids and all that stuff, and tie up all their loose ends before they go out the door. And the fourth thing I thought of this morning was customer retention. So when employees are well trained and knowledgeable about the products and services that they provide better customer service. I mean, I think that's just plain obvious. However, this better customer service in turn is going to lead to higher customer satisfaction and loyalty down the road. And so it's another benefit for the company. All right. Part of the details is like onboarding training, and we want to integrate employees into the company. So if we have a specific process, we have to have employees understand why they are doing what they're doing. Or we want to have employees understand why we are doing something a particular way. Now, some of that has to do with processes that were built up over time. It might be safety, it might be efficiency, it might be something else. Either way, it's important that your new employees understand the how and the why. Once they understand the how and the why, they will invariably follow the process because they understand the process. They won't sit there and saying, this is stupid, it doesn't make any sense, and try to do an end around what you're doing. The second part about integration is culture. So sometimes things are done a specific way just due to company culture. Looping in other people, having additional conversations that someone might not think are necessary. While it might be nonsensical to new employees, once they understand it and they understand why you're doing it, it's going to make a lot more sense, and they're going to, again, not question why things are done a particular way. In addition, this helps instill company values, which is another why in terms of why things are done a certain way. Finally, it's going to increase employee engagement and buy-in if they understand the culture and those sorts of underlying reasonings. We've got the next slide here, product and service training. So we want our employees to know what the company does or sells or makes, right? We want the employees to understand how the business is positioned in the marketplace. What's the value proposition? What makes your company better or a good choice for consumers as opposed to your competitors? Now, that doesn't mean you have to tell them why your competitors suck. You don't want to go with them because they're from Shelbyville or whatever. What you want to do, though, is you want to make sure that they know why your company is good and why you're going to do good work or provide good services or provide a solid product. Skills training. Skills, you cut those into hard skills and soft skills. So when I'm talking about hard skills, I'm talking about things that employees need to know to perform their actual job function. So while training comes with a cost, it can also lead to cost savings in the long run with these hard skills. Well-trained employees are less likely to make costly mistakes. So it might be something as learning a programming language or learning how to use a lathe in the machine shop, or project planning and execution, maybe Six Sigma. These are all training skills that you can provide your employees that can help improve their function. And secondly, we got soft skills, communication skills, listening, teamwork. These are all things that aren't directly measurable, like the output of widgets at a factory, but these skills are also invaluable for increasing productivity, decreasing acrimony within the workplace, increasing cohesion and teamwork and collegiality. Compliance training, near and dear to my heart. HR and legal compliance. This might be done at onboarding. It might be done, anytime. But you want your employees. You want to train them on your company policies. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do an 8-hour course on your employee handbook. But what you might want to do is during orientation or onboarding, you definitely want to hit about sexual harassment and discrimination. Those are big areas where lawsuits can come and can cause you lots of damages in terms of attorney's fees and lawsuits down the road. And on the softer side, company benefits. What benefits do you provide? How do they increase the value proposition to your employee? If you just don't explain it and just hand out a piece of paper, how many employees read that stuff? So if you highlight what you do offer in terms of health or medical or dental or STD or LTD, and if you're a little transparent in how much that actually costs the employer, that can buy you some goodwill down the road with the employees. And finally, our last slide here, regulatory compliance. So what if you're in a specific industry? You might have some other fun things you get to learn about. SARBOX, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act for government contractors and the like. You're likely going to have in-house counsel do trainings on that if you are subject to those two regulations. I know banking regulations, like even the lowly bank tellers, have to take truth in savings and truth in lending classes from, I believe it's the FDIC, if not the SEC. If you're in the medical industry, you got to do HIPAA training, even if you're not a doctor or a nurse. If you're just a file clerk, you still have to understand patient privacy and medical record stuff. So you might be doing some HIPAA training, or if you're in food or drug manufacturing, you have to deal with the FDA, and there might be some FDA regulations that you need to train people up on. And that's just a smattering. There's probably a million more that I couldn't think of when I put this deck together. In general, that's going to be it for our quick overview here today. 15 minutes, as a minute over, not too bad. Remember, if you have tickets, feel free to shoot them in through the ticketing system. If you're a myHRcounsel client already, if you have questions, please hit us up at that email address, info@myHRcounsel.com. If you just want to browse our website, it's linked down there on the bottom. Next week, I think we got another fun one coming up. I don't think you get me, so You guys will have a break, I think, after I've done at least 2 of these in a row. And thank you all for joining us today.